the final battle between light and shadow.
The ultimate battle of light and shadow, a fantasy showdown you've never seen. In the mystical world of Eldarhelm, two ancient realms, the Kingdom of Light and the Dominion of Shadow, stood at the edge of a final showdown. Their lands, separated by the dark river Mirrodin, had been in a fragile truce for centuries, yet whispers of war began to spread as shadow forces started amassing near the river's edge. The tension built as each side prepared for an inevitable confrontation that would shape the fate of Eldarhelm for eternity. The call to arms. On the day the skies turned a shade of blood red, King Uranus of the Kingdom of Light, a noble elf with silver hair and eyes like starlight, summoned his mightiest champions. Among them was Sir Kaelen, a fearless human knight known for his enchanted sword, Blazebreaker. Lyra, a powerful sorceress who could harness the elemental forces, and Rivak, a half-giant warrior with unmatched strength. Together, these heroes swore to protect their lands and lead the forces of light against the encroaching darkness. Meanwhile, across the Mirrodin, in the cursed dominion known as Umbrazar, the sinister Warlord Varaxes prepared his army. Clad in obsidian armor and wielding the shadow-infused spear, Nightfall, he commanded legions of wraiths, shadow beasts, and dark sorcerers. Varaxes, a towering figure with molten eyes and armor that seemed to absorb light, had long awaited this moment, the prophecy of an age-old darkness coming true under his rule. The beginning of the battle. The armies met at the Vale of Namaroth, a desolate battlefield where ancient wars had once been fought. The Vale was dotted with crumbling statues, twisted trees, and eerie ruins that whispered of ancient horrors. As dawn broke, the two armies clashed, their battle cries echoing through the misty air. The light soldiers, clad in armor that shimmered with enchantments, met the dark wave of Varaxes' forces with unmatched bravery. Sir Kaelen led the charge, his sword blazing with holy fire as it struck down wraith after wraith. His armor gleamed with the blessing of the gods, repelling the dark sorcery that tried to weaken his spirit. But Varaxes' shadow beasts, hulking creatures with jagged fangs and talons, tore into the front lines, scattering soldiers and sowing chaos. A clash of champions. At the heart of the battle, Sir Kaelen and Lyra fought side by side, their magic and steel complementing each other. Lyra, with her long red hair flowing and eyes alight with energy, summoned torrents of wind and lightning, creating shields and barriers that deflected the dark magic of the shadow sorcerers. She unleashed powerful waves of fire that swept through the ranks of shadow beasts, turning them to ash. But even her strongest spells strained against the overpowering darkness emanating from Varaxes himself. Varaxes, watching from a ridge, finally descended onto the battlefield. His mere presence caused a hush to fall as shadows coiled around him, bending reality to his will. With a single swing of his spear, he cleaved through rows of soldiers, sending blasts of darkness that seemed to sap the very life from his enemies. Spotting him, Sir Kaelen rallied his remaining warriors and charged toward the Warlord. The duel. In the center of the battlefield, Kaelen and Varaxes met in a duel of unimaginable intensity. Kaelen struck first, his sword shining with holy light as it met Varaxes' spear. The clash sent shockwaves through the ground, knocking back both soldiers and specters. Each swing, each parry, was a spectacle of power. Kaelen's Blazebreaker flared with divine fire, while Nightfall absorbed and twisted that energy, releasing bursts of shadow in retaliation. Varaxes, sneering, taunted Kaelen with whispers of doom, his voice echoing in a haunting tone. "Your light is feeble, knight. This world belongs to the shadow." But Kaelen, undeterred, struck back with renewed fury, his strikes breaking past Varaxes' guard and searing through his armor. The turning point. But just as Kaelen seemed poised to deliver a final blow, Varaxes unleashed a devastating spell. The earth cracked open beneath Kaelen, releasing tendrils of shadow that wrapped around him, binding him in place. With a cruel smile, Varaxes raised his spear, prepared to finish the knight. In that critical moment, Lyra arrived, channeling her elemental magic into a massive vortex of fire and lightning. She hurled the vortex at Varaxes, forcing him to retreat momentarily and breaking Kaelen free from the shadows. Together, they combined their power with Kaelen's blade, infused by Lyra's magic, creating a radiant weapon capable of shattering darkness itself. The final assault. Realizing they had one last chance to end the battle, Lyra and Kaelen launched a coordinated attack. Kaelen drove his sword through Varaxes' chest, piercing his armor and shattering his spear. With a deafening roar, Varaxes crumbled, his form disintegrating into wisps of darkness that faded into the sky. However, even as Varaxes was defeated, his dark army continued its assault. Rivak, the half-giant, rallied the forces of light, using his colossal strength to scatter the remaining shadow creatures. The sorcerers of light invoked ancient spells, cleansing the land of the darkness that lingered. Aftermath and legacy. With Varaxes defeated and his army dispersed, a heavy silence fell over the Vale of Namaroth. The heroes of light had won, but at great cost. Many brave souls had been lost, and the land itself was scarred. Sir Kaelen, Lyra, and Rivak stood together, weary but victorious, knowing they had saved Eldarhelm from falling into an age of darkness. The people of Eldarhelm celebrated their heroes, and tales of their courage and unity spread across the land. Statues were erected in their honor, and songs were sung of the ultimate battle of light and shadow, a testament to their bravery and sacrifice. And though the Dominion of Shadow was defeated, the memory of that great battle lived on as a story of hope, resilience, and the unyielding power of light in the face of darkness. Peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and His blessings. Before we begin, don't forget to mention Allah and send blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as this brings blessings and peace to the soul. Now let's dive into our topic for today and explore its details. If you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to ask. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated with all the latest content. If you enjoyed the story, make sure to like the video and share it with your friends. Thank you for your support.